Welcome, sophomores. It is I, Mr. Shea, the voice of Mr. Shea, at least. So welcome. President John Adams, this guy right here. So by the time he becomes president, he is getting old. Quite gray. Not many years left in him. But he's been a leader for the United States for many years. And it is time to take control after President George Washington steps down after 2 terms, 8 years in office. And in that final farewell address, Washington's farewell address is quite famous. He kind of sticks to 4 main things in his address that he tells the nation and the leaders of the nation to be aware of, to carry with them as they continue the country. First, he warns against political parties. He sees that we have these Federalists, we have these Republicans, and these 2 political parties are bickering. And he's worried that if there are 2 parties, it'll prevent the country from agreeing, and it could tear the country apart. Second, he warns against foreign entanglements. He really doesn't want to get involved in wars overseas, in issues that in many ways don't include the United States. Certainly, especially at this time when the country is still developing and still trying to get its feet, this is a great idea. But people today even point back to this and say, why aren't we following this? He supports this neutrality in addition to that the United States needs to stand firm, and even when countries are pestering it, as France and England have, to support them, they should not. And he calls to importance religion and morality. He sees that the country is built on these 2 things, that it should be a moral country that's following its best interests, especially in response to you have a lot of violence in the French Revolution, with people being beheaded and other things. So Washington wants it to stay in this in God we trust, which we see on our currency today. So John Adams is coming in after this farewell address, and he especially needs to figure out really these top 3 items that Washington is warning and promoting. And first problem is France and England. As we've mentioned, France and England are at war. Both of them want the United States support and are threatening the United States if they don't support them. England is seizing American sailors, but eventually they sign the Jay Treaty, which we mentioned in the last video. France, on the other hand, is still unhappy that the United States is not supporting them, especially because the U.S. had signed a treaty that said we would support you, France, because you helped us. However, they signed that treaty when there was still a King of France, so it's among some circles agreed that we shouldn't help France now that there's a new leadership. The king has lost his head, so even though they once signed a treaty, it is now no longer good because there's a new kind of government. So the United States sends over 3 representatives, 3 ministers, to negotiate a treaty with France. However, when those ministers get to France, they are met with 3 agents, 3 spies, if you were, who would only refer to themselves as X, Y, and Z. And these agents say the only way that we're going to negotiate a deal, or even give you the audience to make a deal with our foreign minister, so the foreign minister would be kind of the person that makes these deals with other countries, is if you give us $250,000 and a $12 million loan. What it is a bribe. France is saying, if you want to make a treaty with us, we need to get some money from you. Now, the United States hears about this, and they are outraged. They're saying this is what countries do, is that they make deals, but we do not bribe. We're not going to take or give bribes to France. So John Adams, he's confronted with this, and a lot of people are saying this means war. We're going to have to go to war with France. So they begun preparations. He calls George Washington out of retirement to get ready in case we need to go to war with France. There's rumors abound that France is going to invade, they're going to free the slaves, that they're going to take over the West. So there's a whole lot of confusion and dispute that's going on in the United States. And with this, politics then becomes a big issue. Namely, the Republican Party. The Republican Party, they are saying that Adams is exaggerating his claims about France's hostility. The Republican Party is firmly in support of France because France had this revolution. So the Republicans are saying, let's not go to war. This is not good. We need to stay out of war. So they are bickering now with the Federalists. So this whole issue that Washington is warning about of foreign entanglements and political parties fighting is causing a huge issue. So those Republicans start very much criticizing Adams as president and criticizing the government as a whole. And that is going to scare a lot of members of Adams' entourage, and which is going to lead to what we were talking about tomorrow or today whenever you're watching this, which is the Alien and Sedition Acts. All right, that's it. Farewell. Enjoy. Goodbye.